Circle stars Emma Watson, Tom Hanks, John Boyega, Karen Gillan, and Patton Oswalt, and basically Emma Watson plays this girl named May. She gets a job at a technology company called The Circle, and as she gets deeper into her job, she gains more power. But when she gets all the power in the world in the company, she finds out a secret about The Circle, and The Circle might be this shady technology company, and she sets out to, bring down some secrets for them. The Circle is a movie that I thought was going to be really interesting. It has a topic that is really relevant to our society today. We are in such a technology-savvy society, and you always just wonder if there's something out there that's watching you, or something that is like The Circle, like how it's portrayed in this. Kind of like a social media platform, like Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, or just something like Google. I mean, that's the best way to describe The Circle in this movie. It's like Google and Facebook. That's basically it. And so I feel like the movie had a really good idea at trying to portray that. Unfortunately, the movie is really poorly acted, has some really cringeworthy dialogue, characters that are hollow, and characters that are dumb, and characters you just don't give a shit about to actually care about this topic that could be something that speaks volumes to the society that we live in today. So, like I said, first things first, acting. That's what I'm talking about. It's awful. There are a couple of standout performances. Emma Watson is fine in the movie. She's serviceable. She's not bad. She's not great. I'm still waiting for her to give us that Oscar-worthy performance that I know she's capable of, but the movie really hinged on her, because it's her movie, really. And if her performance was god-awful, this movie would have been a lot worse than it was. It really hinged on her, so I was happy that she gave a solid performance. I actually thought her performance improved as the movie went along, as she got more lines of dialogue. I was like, she's actually pulling this American accent off really well, so kudos to her. John Boyega's in the movie for like 3 scenes, and he's good in them. Just wish he had more to do. Karen Gillan annoyed the shit out of me in Guardians of the Galaxy. She annoyed the shit out of me in this movie. Rumor has it, she's annoying in Guardians of the Galaxy too. My tolerance level is down to here. Yeah, it's at 0 with her now. Other supporting cast members in this movie where you just look at them and you're like, you ever gone to acting school? And then somebody, like Tom Hanks or Bill Paxton, just comes on the screen, and you just look at them and you're like, you know what? Yeah. Kids, look at them. That's acting. And me mentioning Bill Paxton, just, you know, a little side note, rest in peace, Bill Paxton. This movie really builds to something that it tries to raise all these questions and answer them in an hour and 45 minutes. The thing is, it raises all these questions, so it succeeds at that, but it fails at answering, like, all of them. There's just things in this movie that the characters do that don't make sense, and then there's things that they don't do that would make more sense. So, yeah, when you're questioning why they're not doing those situations, you kind of have to question the characters. The characters in this movie are just nowhere to be found. For instance, the main character May, sure, Emma Watson is good at playing her, doesn't necessarily mean that the character is good. There's no depth to that character. She is literally the dumbest person on the planet. I swear to God. How can you just, when you get a job at this big mega tech conglomerate, how can you just walk in to the offices, this huge office with just technology all around, and just immediately go, yeah, this place is for me. I'm gonna love it here. I'm pretty sure if I walked into an office like that, I'd be like, get the fuck out of here, this place looks shady. John Boyega's character has nothing to him, he's just there for 3 scenes. You don't learn anything about him. There's this character that's in the movie that the movie makes it look like he's gonna be like Emma Watson's love interest, and it never goes that far, and he doesn't go anywhere. The character of May Holland, that's Emma Watson's character. I'm going back to her for a minute. She rises so far up to the top of this company so quick into the movie that you question, how did she get there? That's the big question I had. I was like, how'd you get there so quick? How'd you go from A to J in a day? And I felt her character speech at the end of this movie was just like typical, like everyday, like real life Emma Watson stuff. Like basically what it boils down to is this. Emma Watson was playing a character for a good majority of this movie, if there even was a character there, and then the end scene happens and you're like, you walk out of that movie and you think to yourself, Emma Watson was just playing herself, wasn't she? Yep, that was Emma Watson playing Emma Watson. Because that's what the last scene in this movie was. It was her playing herself. There's a subplot that's introduced in the middle of this movie, and it goes nowhere. Thank God, because I would have lost interest in that subplot. I wouldn't have given a shit about that subplot. I don't now, and I never will, and I'm glad it went nowhere, but if you're going to introduce it, let it go somewhere. You know, you're a subplot. You're supposed to do something, even though you're not the main plot. If I had to describe this movie to you, it would be this. This woman gets a job at a technology company, and the movie just focuses on her everyday life in different aspects and doesn't really focus on one specific topic. Each scene is really an introduction of something new, and you're going along with that new thing in each scene. That's basically it. This is where The Circle failed for me. The Circle, for me, had all the potential to be a good movie. It had a good cast, had Emma Watson, John Boyega, Tom Hanks. That should be a home run right there. Has good themes and attempts to raise some questions about these themes that we would think about in everyday life, like, oh, is the government watching us? Is there any such thing as public and privacy? What's the difference between being public and private? But the film just fails to answer these questions. None of these questions are answered. You have hollow characters on top of hollow characters, and characters you just don't really like all that much. The acting is really wooden. The writing is all over the place. I wanted The Circle to be a surprise hit. It was a surprise failure. I am going to give The Circle a 3.5 out of 10. It just didn't hit home for me. And you can find me on Facebook. You can follow me on Twitter. I got a new Twitter handle. It's at Alex_Madden_. I'll put it in the link below. That's my new Twitter handle. Official website coming soon. If you're on YouTube, hit my logo at the end of this video to see more videos and subscribe and go insane because I'm a mad movie guy.